welcome to another edition of The Watchers, and might I just say Happy New Year. I'm Rhys Jones.
And I'm Terence Edwards, and here's the news. Forrest Gump, The Silence of the Lambs and Bambi are all to be preserved by the US Library of Congress as part of the National Film Registry. Since its inception in 1989, 25 films a year are chosen for their cultural, historical or aesthetic significance to be added to the collection. Other films in the registry include The Wizard of Oz, Vertigo and The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
According to the file-sharing blog Torrent Freak, Fast 5 was the most pirated film of 2011, downloaded over 9 million times. In second place was The Hangover 2 with 8.8 million downloads, and Thor was in third place with 8.3 million.
And on the subject of the Fast and Furious franchise, Vin Diesel has confirmed there will be 2 further sequels, bringing the total number of films to 7. Universal Pictures are considering filming the 6th and 7th sequels back-to-back.
A planned movie reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is now in doubt. In late 2010, Warner Bros. Announced that they would press on with a remake which would not involve Joss Whedon. However, a report in the Los Angeles Times states that screenwriter Whit Anderson has chosen to leave the project. Warner Bros. Declined to offer an official comment.
The official trailer for The Dark Knight Rises has broken the record for most downloaded trailer on iTunes. It was downloaded more than 12.5 million times in its first 24 hours after its release on December the 19th.
And finally, Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures has announced that The Avengers will be released in both 2D and 3D formats, whilst J.J. Abrams has stated that Star Trek II, due in cinemas in 2013, will receive a high-end conversion to 3D.
We're right in the heart of award season at the moment. The major US critics groups have given their awards. The Golden Globes are given out on January the 15th, and the BAFTA nominations follow 2 days later. These are all stops on the way to the Oscar nominations, which are going to be announced on Tuesday, January the 24th. So I thought what I'd do is give a quick roundup of the major categories for the Oscars and kind of likely nominees. So I'll start off, I'll dive straight in for the big prize, which is Best Picture. There's one film that is going to be guaranteed a place, and that is The Artist. It's won several critics groups' top prize. It's been nominated for everything from the Golden Globes to the Independent Spirits, so it's a cast-iron cert that that's going to get nominated. Other films that have done well are Hugo and The Tree of Life, along with The Descendants, The Help, Moneyball, Midnight in Paris and War Horse. So any combination of those films could get the nod for the Best Picture. Going on to Best Director, well, it could be second time lucky for Martin Scorsese. His direction of Hugo has impressed the critics groups and has got him Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominations. However, Scorsese faces competition from Terrence Malick for The Tree of Life and Michelle Hazanavicius for The Artist. It could be a 7th Best Director nod for Woody Allen for Midnight in Paris and a 2nd for Alexander Payne for The Descendants. However, there could be surprise inclusions for George Clooney for The Ides of March, Clint Eastwood for J. Edgar, or even Nicholas Winding Refn for Drive. In the Best Actor stakes, there's going to be a battle of the hunts, as both Brad Pitt and George Clooney should be nominated for their roles in Moneyball and The Descendants, respectively. There's nothing Academy Award voters like more than a strong performance in a biopic, so that pretty much includes Leonardo DiCaprio for J. Edgar. Jean Dujardin's turn in The Artist will almost certainly get a nod too, which leaves one position left to be filled. A nomination for Gary Oldman and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy seems to be a long shot, sadly. More likely, it'll either be Michael Fassbender for Shame or Ryan Gosling for either The Ides of March or Drive. There is one pretty much guaranteed nomination for Best Actress, and quite frankly, if Meryl Streep doesn't get nominated for The Iron Lady, I will eat my hat. I will also eat somebody's hat if Michelle Williams doesn't get nominated for My Week with Marilyn. Other strong certainties are Tilda Swinton for We Need to Talk About Kevin and Viola Davis for The Help. Glenn Close could get her first Oscar nomination for over 20 years for her performance in Albert Nobbs, or Rooney Mara could get her first for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. When it comes to Best Supporting Actor, there have been 2 performances that have swept the boards at the Critics' Awards. Albert Brooks for Drive and Christopher Plummer for Beginners, so expect to see them named. Others worth consideration are Kenneth Branagh for My Week with Marilyn and Jonah Hill for Moneyball. Other nominated performances are Armie Hammer for J. Edgar, Nick Nolte for Warrior, Viggo Mortensen for A Dangerous Method, and then finally for Best Supporting Actress. The female lead in The Artist, Berenice Bejo, has constantly been nominated in the Supporting Actress category. Given the amount of love for the film in general, it's pretty much a cert that she'll be nominated, as will Jessica Chastain. She's given some impressive supporting performances this year, but I think it's going to be her role in The Help. that will actually clinch her a nomination. Her co-star in The Help, Octavia Spencer, also seems a strong candidate. Shailene Woodley's win at the National Board of Review for a performance in Descendants marks her out as a contender. There's one performance that's done very, very well, so it could be a rare nomination for an actress in a comedy, and that goes to Bridesmaids, Melissa McCarthy. It's going to be interesting to see who does actually get named on the 24th. One thing I will do before that Tuesday, probably the weekend before, I will post on our Facebook group a link to my official nomination predictions.
I'm knee-deep in the single most important case of my career.
What are we up against here?
The most formidable criminal mind in Europe.
Professor James Moriarty.
If we can stop him, we should prevent the collapse of Western civilization. No pressure. What? I agree, it's not my best disguise.
Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows.
Giddy. I'm giddy.
I can tell he's absolutely bouncing.
This was awesome. You go
Oh
first.
yes, absolutely fantastic. Sequels, always a bit of a tricky business. For every Godfather 2 you get some tripe like Too Fast, Too Furious. However, I've got to say, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows definitely falls into the superior sequel category.
Oh, definitely. One of the best sequels ever. But
Robert Downey Jr. returns as Sherlock, ably assisted by Jude Law as Dr. Watson. However, this time round there's an extra couple of members to the cast. The brilliant Noomi Rapace as a gypsy fortune teller. The fantastic Stephen Fry as Mycroft Holmes, and rounding it off nicely, a lovely, very icy performance by Jared Harris as the villain, Professor Moriarty.
Jared Harris really, really storms the show for me. It's such a underplayed villain. He doesn't camp it up as easy as it could have been.
Yes.
It is a superb masterclass in how to play not just Moriarty, but how to play an amazing villain. It's up there with Hans Gruber, in my opinion.
It's absolutely brilliant. There are several scenes that Sherlock and Moriarty have together, and all of the scenes are so engrossing that you just cannot take your eyes off them. The two actors absolutely play it to the hilt. One thing I've got to say that I really enjoyed, the style from the original film has kind of carried over. So you get the slow-mo fight sequences, you get the interior monologue of Holmes as he's assessing a situation. Stylistically it follows on, and I think it's a good move by Guy Ritchie to keep a style that he established in the first film. So there's a wonderful use of a metaphor of chess throughout the game. In fact, the final showdown between Holmes and Moriarty is done over a game of blitz chess, and I really liked that conceit. It could have easily been quite overdone.
Or contrived in some way.
Or contrived, yeah, or kind of laid on too thick, but it really, really worked.
I completely agree. I just wanted to say, film marks to me that this director is such an underappreciated talent. For me, this film proves he is not a one-trick pony.
Absolutely.
He is fantastic. I cannot wait to see whatever genres Guy Ritchie turns his hands to. He is such a mature filmmaker from watching this film.
The writers of this instalment have really thought about what they're doing. Everything is planned. Every set piece forms part of the bigger game. And kudos to them for actually making such an intricate pattern, but not so intricate that your brain kind of loses interest as you're watching it. Everything is so engrossing. Each set piece going from London to Paris to Berlin to Switzerland, where the denouement of the film takes place. Each part is superbly crafted, but also forms part of the bigger whole.
It's not just that the writers have created a story, a well-crafted story, a well-crafted mystery, but yet modernising it to the right point of modernisation for a big-budget movie version of Holmes. What they've managed to do is instill characterisation within a masterful piece of writing, and portrayed amazingly by these actors. But I mean, the Holmes and Watson relationship that was built in the first film, but you can tell in this film that the two actors involved are really good friends now. It sponges across into their performance.
Definitely.
They're fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah, they really spark off each other really, really well. The banter between the two of them, you know, excellent in the first film, kind of almost transcends it in the second. So much humour, especially in Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Holmes. He's very, very dry.
But what was so amazing is that obviously the comic relief is what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it wasn't misplaced. It
No,
wasn't mistimed.
absolutely not.
You didn't feel to yourself, oh, they're doing another funny bit just to revolve around to get the laugh.
No,
it just fitted into the whole into the whole universe of this movie. It just fitted so perfectly.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the performance is just absolutely top notch. I really can't say enough good things about this film, and for me, you know, it's going to be the first time, but I'm going to give it 5 out of 5.
Oh my God, Tez gives 5 out of 5. I can't give it 5 out of 5 because it's a sequel, and I think I'll have to stick to that rule myself. But this is a 4.5.
It's an absolutely brilliant piece of filmmaking. Go see it
now.
So what happens now?
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.